So welcome to the channel Coding. Here we are learning how to write a better C program and understand the basic building blocks of C coding, scripts, controls, functions, variables, and many more. So let us go back to the editor itself and see how it works. Okay, so here we are at Chrome, and I can just search for online C editor, and we'll have a list of editors online available. You can just pick one of them, or the browser, you can choose the one you have in your system. Okay, so in the previous session, we were writing Hello World program that is very conventional. I think most of us know that any language we start learning that starts from Hello World. So will not deviate much from the conventional path of learning a programming language. So Hello World, we'll run this. And here we go. So Hello World you got. Okay, so since we already got a default code from the editor itself, and we'll see each one of them. So first we can see the header file, and then we have int main function, parenthesis we have, then we have opening braces, curly braces we have, and then printf hello world, then we have return 0, and then closing braces. Okay, so I think we can just see each of them one by one. Possibly it may uncover many facts of C syntax and concepts together. So, okay, so we can start from has include stdio.h. So what is that? It is an header file, and the header file has include, that is going to be the keyword, and stdio.h, standard input output .h, that is header file. .h denotes that, or it is a signal that it is a header file. Standard std io input output. Okay, so this, thanks to Dennis Ritchie, he has kind of created C, and that has been very popular uh, since decades. And many of us have learned programming from C and then moved on to C++, Java, Python, and so on. So header file, we don't have only one single header file. We have many header files in C. You can just go to Google and search the header files that is for C language. So you can have mass.h, conio.h, string.h, and so on. Like they are specific to a particular say problem. They cater to a solution for a problem. Say for example, you want many functions of maths, say sine, cos, and all that. You have some angles and you want to see the values and all that. And conio.h talks about how do you add colors to your program. And then string.h, you want to concatenate, you want to split, you want you are really very serious about and writing some code that relates to your strings. Okay, I'm not sure if I'm too fast or too slow. You can put that in comment so that my I can just take the input from you for the upcoming videos. So what I was saying is has include stdio.h is the default one which you should have if you're writing a C program. Standard input output I was talking about. So basically you will have functions that accepts value from the standard input device, and puts the output on the standard output device. So it is like user interaction. Basically you have a program where the program is asking, please enter your name, or please enter your age, or things like that. So the message will appear on the standard output, that is monitor, and the value is accepted by the standard input, that is keyboard. So standard input of a computer system is your keyboard, and output is going to be a monitor. You can have many more output and input, but the standard input is keyboard and output is monitor, where the data is displayed and where the data comes from to your program. This is specific to, I mean, we are talking in terms of program. So standard input output you got to have. uh, okay, now this is going to be the very first line of your code normally, and then this space from has include to this int main, that is mostly for kind of mostly the global part of your program, like global part in the sense, it might be confusing to you. You can have global variables, you can have constants, you can have the resources which program utilizes across. So okay, that statement, I'm not sure how far it is conceived by you. So basically, there are some resources actually, whether it is a function or whether it is a variable, or they are the mm, resources of a program. So this is where the program operates and works. So a global variable, definitely you are going to declare before main function, constants and like structures sometimes you declare before the main function. So let us not talk about this space, which space after the header and before the main. So we'll leave it as it is. We'll just go back to our default code what we got. Okay, int main parenthesis opening braces. Okay, we'll see what is that. So int is basically a data type. You have many data types in C: int, float, char, double, all that. So okay, so we'll see one by one, like what is int. Int means integer, float, double, and then char. Char is a character. So in short, we call char, and integer we call int. Okay, so and main, what is that main? Main is function in C, and which is called by the operating system when you run the program, and then this parenthesis, opening and closing. Parenthesis is that talks about the parameters if the function takes any, and then space is by convention. You may not have space, and then opening braces. So opening braces, that is curly braces, and then your program starts here, right, and ends where? Here. So that is the space for your program. If you're learning C, that means that, and you're writing a function, this is I have highlighted the space. So that space is where you write your program, and the code which you have written within that is going to be executed. Okay, header files and int main, opening braces, closing braces, they are all part of, it's something like a building. You got a foundation, you got columns, steels, concretes, all that. But ultimately, what you see is a house, where you have fancy windows and doors and things like that. But those concretes, columns, all that, and the foundation, the plinth, other stuff that is very technical to civil, all that you may not know and need not know. Basically, if you are enjoying the house, then these are not. So since you are a programmer, you are like things like civil engineer. You start the program, you build the program. So things like that. You may have many things which are not seen by the user. So what is seen by the user here in this program? Hello world, right? So okay, the output is right there on your right. Okay, so hello world is what is going to be seen by the user, the person who's going to use your program. Can you imagine so much so much code you have written? Normally, the real programs used to have thousands and lakhs of code. The codes are not shown, not seen, not it's of no use to the user. Basically, user is looking for the functionality. As long as it is serving their purpose, they are fine. So since you are a programmer, you are writing the code, you got to care about and know about it. So okay, coming back to our program, so has include stdio.h is the header file you got to have, and then int main int. Okay, let us go in short. Int is the data type, and main is the function. Parenthesis is this opening and closing braces, small bracket, which people call in a plain English, that is going to be the parenthesis in C language, and then this opening braces and closing braces. So I think I can just, this is not a code, but some comments. Okay, see, there are three types of functions. Sorry, the brackets we'll be using. Let us put that in comment. So one is, this small bracket opening and closing, that is for the functions wherein you pass the parameters. And the second is what? The opening and closing braces, where you define the body of a function basically. And there are other uses of this also, that we'll see later. But you know, by and large, you have the function body or the body, maybe. You can have for loop also. You can have if switch. Basically, you know namespace, basically a space where the control enters and executes. May come back, say for example, if it is loop, then it goes on and on until the condition is false. Okay, now the third is going to be your square bracket. Okay, so this is parenthesis, and this is going to be what? Curly braces, and this is what? Square bracket. Okay, so these are the kind of the ones which we'll be using in our program. Basically, you got to remember all three of them. And anyway, no need to remember, like as and when you write program and you keep writing programs, so it is something like default. You'll be using at times whenever it is required. So it is all about practice. Okay, so what is this when I'm trying to kind of align? Okay, see, you might have seen this int main and then opening braces, and my I have written the printf, which is not starting from here, right? Okay, so what is that? Why do we have a program like this where the printf starts after a tab? The reason is this is called indentation. It is similar to, I'll tell you, it is similar to writing a letter. I think if you have written letter to someone, you might recall how's that. There's a to, and then the subject line, and then start with dear sir, madam, and all. Then you leave a space. What is that? Indentation. We follow some convention, and then you say thanks, and you're sincere, whatever, and then you sign yourself. So what is that? We follow some convention. So convention. So in programming also we follow kind of script convention. We simply call it as an indentation. Indentation means like after a particular statement, where the next statement should appear. Say for example, we are writing main function, and we have the curly braces open, and then the next statement is going to be here. See, the editor itself, they are putting the cursor there. So please do not think that it is wrongly put and take the statement here. Basically, you should think that if by default the cursor is put here, means it may have some meaning in it, and try learning. Sometimes your editor and some notes that appear, the comments that appear, it tells us something that this is how it should be. Okay, in the same line, if you want, you can write the printf here also, right? Not only that, okay, you can run the program. Fine, there is no output. I mean, there is no change in the output basically. The hello world was output before, and now also it is hello world, right? Not only that, you can put the return here. No need to leave any space. Just after this. And see, there is no change in the output. Not only that, you can put the, wow, everything comes in the same line and no change in the output. Great. This is how it is. See, for C compiler, there is no problem, right? It know you have followed all the syntax, like int main, opening braces, printf, semicolon. Actually, if you don't put semicolon here, then you'll get an error. We'll see the error also, because you should love the errors then to become a great programmer. Unless until you are liking the error and debugging it and being with it, and then you should know like what your program is complaining about, what it is trying to say, and what you're not listening basically, at what you're in short you are ignoring it. So sometimes you may have compile time error, sometimes you have, if you don't follow and try to you know overlook it, you may have runtime error. Fine. Somehow you are covering up in the compile time, then the user will face the problem. So it is your job to see not only the error, even the warnings you should be taking seriously, and try to get out of it. Maybe some uh, files you are using which are outdated or the lower version, all that will come later part of our learning. But in short, you should be uh, you should be comfortable with the error as well, and you try to go through it. Okay, so fine. This is also a program which is giving the same output, but I'm not here to teach such programs to write and execute. I'm trying to say that this is a syntax. Basically, as long as you follow the syntax, compiler will not complain about it. But writing such program will be nightmare for you and for others to really debug it. If see now everything is fine, so fine. What about if there is an error? Then it is very difficult to debug it. So it is just for you to tell that this is printf is a statement that ends with a semicolon, return zero is a statement that ends with a semicolon, and it may not. I mean, compiler is not forcing us to follow an indentation and all that. It is our job to follow them so that I can read and understand my own code, right? So it is for me basically, and it is for others who are looking into my code. So basically, say comments, right? We were talking about comments in the last session. So comments, what is that? Comment is, again, it is going to help me and people who are interested in my code. So it is helping those, right? Something similar to comments, the indentation is also going to help me and people who are interested in my code basically. I mean, the colleagues, like I have written some part of the code, my colleague, basically normally the same file is not edited by two, basically two people in the companies and things like that. They write their own components, and they are responsible for the components and things like that, and then components are being called, plugged in and all that, how we say. But okay, so long story short, it is for us. So since any things are for us, we should be caring about. Otherwise, if we get stuck somewhere, then we'll be spending too much time there. Okay, so this is how the code is. Return zero is going to be the last statement of the program. After return, there cannot be any more code after this. You can't have int I here. No, it's not going to be. Okay, so better do not. I mean, return zero. If you put uh, basically you are done with the functions behavior, and you are done with it and you are closing it. Now again, you do not start writing code after return zero. It is going to be the closing braces. There could be it could be depending on the compiler. Like C compiler sometimes may not give error, it may give error at runtime. C++, you may have little more restrictions. The syntax is going to be little scrutinized harder, and Java is known for the errors, so we will get the error immediately. So that is good for the programmer, that they know where they stand and what they are not following, and where they are deviating from the normal syntax. So Java is good on that perspective. But C, sometimes you may not get error at compile time. You may get error at runtime. So runtime error is very crazy in nature, wherein, because it is runtime means it is in front of user. So somebody is using your program will come to know that you have not done your job well. That's fine. So it will come back to you, and again you redo the entire stuff. So if the error comes at development time, basically you are lucky enough. uh, I think this much should be enough for today, and we'll talk about more on this in the next session. So okay, so basically today what we have done, just recap of we just got the code, 4 5 lines of code in C that was given by the editor itself, and we saw that there is a header file, and then there is a int main, parenthesis and opening braces and closing braces, and there is a printf, and there is a return zero. So we saw that the importance and necessities of these like has include stdio.h is going to be a header file. You can have many more header files. You can just go to the Google and see that what all more header files you have. Okay, then main function is going to be called by the system. You don't need to worry about. You don't specifically call at times. You just run and it will be called. Parenthesis, again, I'm recapping the whole session. So parenthesis is going to be the parameter part wherein you can have parameters. And opening closing braces is all about the space where you put your code there. Okay, so printf is going to be, okay, printf, scanf, and things like that we'll talk in the next session. And return zero. Return zero means you have done the program successfully, that you are telling to the system. You can return, non-zeros values also, and it has its own meaning when you are returning zero or you are returning one. Basically, you should be knowing the difference between one and zeros, and basically it is zeros and non-zeros. Okay, and then closing braces. Let us not put code after the return and before the closing braces. Put the code before this, kind of return zero, after the opening braces. Fine. So we'll see more in coming sessions how we can understand. Okay, we saw that, okay, indentation is not not really too much cared about the compiler. Compiler has nothing to do with this. You can put the whole program in the single line. Compiler will not complain, and you'll not get error, basically, as long as you follow the syntax. But it is not just for the compiler. We are writing the code and we are responsible, and we are going to debug when we are stuck. Compiler is not going to help us there. So just to know, and later we can debug it, we can we can refactor it. But basically in programming we call refactoring, wherein a big program is divided, then clubbed, and you can basically uh, refactor in the sense, like, say for example, you have a function, big function, you can break down into two. And then you may have kind of, you might not have followed the function naming convention, variable naming convention, all that. So you follow the convention, protocols, and rules and regulations that you have defined uh, to be followed by you while writing the program. So basically, and if it is not followed, then you refactor it. Okay, so today I think so much. We'll see the next session, how what all we can learn in C program. And thanks for watching a video. Thanks a lot.